Dear colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have the immense privilege today to welcome the President of Ukraine, Viktor Yushchenko, to this joint session of Parliament.
Sheepskin coats, they were called. They were hardy, hard-working, and hopeful people who saw in our young and largely untouched country a land of great opportunity. Many were attracted to the vast open grasslands of the Canadian prairies, which, while unsheltered from the harsher elements, reminded them of the steppes back home. We often now forget how difficult those pioneering days really were. Many of these settlers endured terrible hardships, but they prevailed and built the farms, families, and fraternities that were vital to the social and economic development of rural Western Canada.
Indeed, Canadians of Ukrainian origin have made their mark in all parts of Canada and in all sectors.
For all that Ukrainians had achieved in this country, when I was a boy, there remained a certain sadness in the Ukrainian Canadian community. Because despite sharing with us the opportunity and prosperity that freedom and democracy had brought them here, Ukrainian Canadians understood that the bondage and repression of their ancestral land remained as strong as ever before. And indeed, I think some doubted whether that would ever change. But change it did. And in 1991, when it finally broke free of Soviet tyranny, it was Prime Minister Mulroney and the Government of Canada that stood first among the great democracies of the West to recognize the independence of Ukraine. Those who would turn back the clock in Ukraine tried to stop the Orange Revolution. All the parties of both houses of this Parliament and all the people of this nation joined with your countrymen and with your courageous leadership to say, never again will Ukraine lose her freedom. In Kosovo, and is supporting a provincial reconstruction team in Afghanistan. In fact, Ukraine is the only non-NATO country supporting every NATO mission in some way or other. It is for these and many reasons that Canada called upon our partners to endorse Ukraine's eventual membership in NATO, and perhaps even more importantly, to understand that the decision to seek alliance with others is a decision for and only for the sovereign nation of Ukraine itself.
For today, the Ukrainian system is equal within planetary economic competition. This will open new prospects to enhance our foreign economic activities and broad integration of our economy into the global space. Ukraine's accession to the European Union is our main target, and it's written in negotiations with the European Union on establishing a free trade area between Ukraine and the European Union. This will apparently be the first time in our history when Ukraine's sovereignty will be approved by almost 30 countries in the world. Therefore, when we're speaking about Ukraine's NATO membership, we're speaking about genuine Ukrainian sovereignty endowed by the Ukrainian government. In this very context, Mr. Prime Minister, I would like to thank you very much for that position that you expressed during the Bucharest summit. It was a proven, clear opinion of a country that fully supports this very pace of my country. Thank you. This is one of the examples how very firm approvals of our partnership between our two countries is manifested. Of course, a very important supporting pillar for this cooperation is about 1 million Ukrainian Canadians who have become an invariable part of Canadian society. I'm very grateful to Canada for their support of our Ukrainian community and their spiritual and cultural needs.
You yourself have called Ukraine's independence the nation's greatest creation and affirmed that freedom is the alpha and omega of democracy. I believe all Canadians would share that view. You know that you're among friends here, and indeed I hope that you consider Canada your home away from home, given that our country has more than 1.2 million persons of Ukrainian descent, the world's third largest Ukrainian population behind Ukraine and Russia. Many of them settled in Western Canada and brought with them their language and culture, which continues to thrive here. And I'm sure I'm not sure why it is so, but perhaps it is the influence of the wide open spaces in the West. But you will find the world's largest pisanka, or painted Easter egg, pierogi, and kubasa, all in the province of Alberta.